Hey guys, this is Justin at the Survivor Review, and today we'll be talking about Goosebumps. Or as I like to call it, Nostalgia the Movie. Because if you can't tell from all that stuff and this, I loved Goosebumps as a kid. It was such an important part of my childhood. It was some of the earliest books I remember reading. It helped get me into horror. It helped get me into writing. I remember writing Goosebumps stories in 2nd grade. I saved them on floppy disks. I used to write Goosebumps stories on floppy disks. Yeah. And I remember watching the old TV show. I remember especially these VHS tapes. Especially because these were my brother's that he gave to me when I was a kid. And I have all 62 of the original books in the original print versions with the old cover arts. And some of the later ones too. So yeah, Goosebumps, important part of my childhood. So going into this movie, I honestly didn't care. The movie didn't really look that good. It looked like an okay kids film, but the premise wasn't really selling me, and I was just like, eh. But my friend and I went to see it last night just for the heck of it, and I was pleasantly surprised. This movie was a lot of fun. Yeah, it's still a kids movie, and it's firmly a kids film, but there's enough value in this movie that I really enjoyed it. So the plot of the film is essentially this kid moves into this new town, and he befriends the girl next door, who happens to be the daughter of R.L. Stine. One night when he's at her house, he sees all these Goosebumps manuscripts that are all locked up for some reason. And when he opens one up, it unleashes the monsters from that book. And then all the monsters get released, and they have to work together to stop them and put them all back. One of the best things about this movie is that it pays respect to the source material. This doesn't feel like a cheap cash grab, just cashing in on the name and nostalgia like Pixels or the Smurfs or crap like that. The filmmakers seem to genuinely care and seem to understand what makes Goosebumps work. There's just cheesy sense of horror and fun, great combination of that, and that's what this movie really is, and I really like that. And they seem to understand that Goosebumps is an important thing, not just to people who liked it as a kid, but to the new generation, the people who haven't read those books yet and are being introduced to them through this movie. This is a good introduction to that, and I really like that. The monsters in this movie are awesome. It's great seeing all these monsters you remember reading about as a kid up on the big screen and brought to life. It's really cool. My friend and I had a blast just sitting there going, oh, there's that one from that story. Ooh, there's that one from that story. Yeah, I remember that. Though there were some monsters and stuff I wish they would have put in that they didn't. Haunted Mask. But for the most part, it was cool seeing a lot of these creatures and stuff like that. And the cast are all really good. They all play off each other really well. They have good banter back and forth, and they have great chemistry, which really helps drive the film. Jack Black as R.L. Stine is really good, actually. I actually enjoyed him. Though he does this weird voice that at first was a little distracting, but as the movie went on, I got used to it. But he has some good funny moments, and I enjoyed seeing him as the part. The story of this movie it works. It's a great Halloween time film. This movie came out at the perfect time. It has a great October vibe to it, that if you want to go see something with your family that's Halloween related, go see Goosebumps. It fits that way, and it has a fun story with these people just race against time to stop all these monsters before they destroy the city. And it's a fun premise, actually, and it works in this film. Some of the flaws I had with the movie are, not a whole lot, but some of the CGI is really dodgy. And I know it has to look like cheesy a bit, it has to look cartoonish because it's a kids movie, but it just didn't look convincing enough. It didn't really sell me on that. And one thing, this is just me being picky because I shouldn't complain about this in a kids film, but the explanation for why all the monsters do come to life is kind of flimsy. R.L. Stine just explains that like when he was a kid he was bullied. So he would just write these stories about these monsters who were his friends and would fight for him, and then all of a sudden they came to life. That's it. And that is a very flimsy explanation. I'm like, when I was watching the movie, I was like, oh, okay. But then again, it's a kids movie, and that's not really the point of the film. I think I was just expecting a little bit more out of that. But that aside, this movie is just a fun movie to watch. Slappy the Dummy, the most iconic Goosebumps character, is the main antagonist of the movie. He's the one that unleashes all the monsters, and he is great. He's just such a fun character to watch. I love how they got the look of him to look not like that, but kind of similar in style to that compared to the TV show version. And I really liked it. And I like how he was a practical effect. It was an actual like animatronic dummy, which is so cool. It would have killed me to see a CGI Slappy running around. That would have been like awful. But he's a really fun character to watch. Whenever he's on screen, you're just like, yeah, Slappy. It's still a kid's movie, but it does everything well enough to where you're able to enjoy it either way. But I'm just saying there's nothing groundbreaking about this movie. This isn't a movie you have to go out and see right now, or it's not a game changer or anything. It's just a fun film that the kids will enjoy, seeing all the monsters and having this kind of spooky, scary kind of film, and the thrill ride of it. The kids will love it. And the older audience, if you grew up with Goosebumps, will love the nostalgia and all the books and all the references to all the books. And then just it's a fun film in general. Out of 10, I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. So that's Goosebumps, a pleasant surprise. I'm really happy this movie was good and not just like a crappy cash grab, just like, oh, Goosebumps, nostalgia, but actually does things with the characters and does things with the story that's actually fun to watch. And actually does have really good nostalgia. I mean, if you grew up with these books, you're going to have a blast watching this movie. And if you have a younger sibling or a kid and you want to just celebrate Halloween a bit, take them to see this movie. It's definitely worth it. It's a really fun time. It's not, nothing gets too scary. I mean, it's Goosebumps. When has anything in Goosebumps really been scary? But there's nothing really scary, but there's a bunch of creatures and a lot of Halloween elements to it that'll definitely make it enjoyable for a kid. Speaking of one flaw with the movie I forgot to mention, they don't play the theme song to the TV show. I knew they weren't, but man, if they did, oh, I would have loved it. That would have been awesome. It's a classic theme. But that aside, fun movie. Surprisingly fun movie. So that's about it for now. And until next time, I'll talk to you guys later.